So far today has been absolutely point zero to Air Astana. Zero. Shocking. Terrible. Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you guys here. Big thanks to all the new subscribers, a big welcome in fact, and really appreciate the support and the comments that you guys have been giving us. They've been very helpful and genuinely appreciate it. Excuse the way I look, I have a bit of hay fever. I say a bit, quite a lot as it goes. Anyway, today's travels are starting in the UK. We're going off to Heathrow very soon, and I'll be flying with Astana Airways. It's a whole new airline for me. We're going via Almaty Airport, which apparently is the new airport. They've just opened this month, I believe. So it'll be quite cool to see that and hopefully show you guys around. And also experience a different airline. I've seen a couple of the other vloggers who actually rate it quite well, so I'm pretty much looking forward to that. There is a bit of a layover, 16 hours in Almaty, and that will be an interesting one because I'm not going out the airport, I'm going to stay in transit. So let's see what that brings me tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated. I will show you around the aircraft, the seat, etc. as usual, and stay tuned to the end because I'll give you a breakdown on costs and a few things that they offer, which is slightly different to other airlines. So it's worth hanging around. And once again, thanks for being with the channel. Right, we are now in the car and on our way to London Heathrow, and I want to show you something. I think it's a sign that England is saying good riddance because it's amazing. Watch, the sun is out. It's unbelievable. Here we go. We're on our way and happy days. That way. All right. All right there. Sorry. 15:05, so it's only 5 minutes. There we go. That's true. Hello. How are you? I can get my bags on, sorry. Right, let's get us a drink. I need to get myself organised now, so... Okay, we're just at, oddly enough, cafe called Co-Pilot, just inside Heathrow Terminal 4. Going through, I checked in, the check-in process was really good, very friendly. I've had my bags checked all the way through to Bangkok, even though I stop in Almaty for 16 hours, so that's pretty handy. We'll be boarding around 5:25, so we'll just have a quick cup of coffee and I'll update you when I get to the lounge and tell you what's going on.
This is plus,
yes.
Is that the bed? Are you liquidating?
Yeah, I've got 2 items.
Yeah, keep it in the bed.
Alright, cool. Thank you. Yes, thanks. Yes, I'll switch it off before I get there. Cheers.
Okay, right, what have you done now? Why are you systems?
Not a clue.
It's business class as well. And then you've got welcome to Greenhouse.
I've got another boarding pass, electronic. Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers, thank you. Thanks up. Okay, so we've come through security, fast track. Typical Heathrow, not very fast for a start, and also not very friendly either. That's pretty standard for British hospitality, as I see it. Anyway, on my way out, happy to be leaving. I'm now through security. I'm going to make my way to the lounge and see what's up there. Okay, we're in the Plaza Lounge now, and it's very small. It's clearly not specific to the airline. It's one of the all-purpose lounges, one size fits all. And honestly, yeah, it's pretty rubbish. Been in far better lounges than this. Hell of a busy. Very few seats available. I haven't had a look at the food. I'm not even sure if I'm going to even bother to review the food or even walk around. I'm not even sure it's worth it. So definitely do not recommend this.
товарды түсіру жүргізіледі. Ұшу кезінде отырғызу талонына сәйкес орында
Okay, quick chat to camera. Hopefully you can hear me. It's fairly loud in here, but that's standard. It was been a very interesting start. Came on to the gates. They boarded very late. There didn't seem to be too much of a priority for business class, but it wasn't a big problem. I mean, I managed to get on regardless fairly quickly. The plane itself looks really nice, very nice and feels just nice and clean and stylish. It's really cool. Slightly unusual way of things, because normally they whiz around for a drink or a hot towel or anything like that. They didn't do that initially. We got a drink a little while on, and so far they've taken the order for food before we push back, so we know what we've got. The food looks great, and so does the drinks and food does look good. I haven't seen it physically or tasted it, but the menu looks nice, which I've taken a picture of the menu for you so you'll see. The entertainment system actually looks okay, not bad. I mean, it hasn't got thousands and thousands of things, but it's enough to keep you occupied. It's got a few of the latest movies, so that's a positive as well. The staff are okay, not rude or just okay. Maybe things will change as we move along. I'm just giving you a running commentary. We left, I would say, about 40 minutes late, although he did say they'd make up the time in the air. We'll be stopping for a refuel in about 5.5 hours, and then we go on to Almaty, and then it's a 16-hour wait to the next flight from Almaty through to Bangkok. So that's what's going on. Amenity kit's a Samsonite amenity kit. I've also put that down on there for you guys to see. It's really good, really, really nice. I have to say, it's an excellent amenity kit. Can't really fault it. You get some slippers. They've given us slippers, which I'm going to use in a little while. And the seat's very comfortable. It really is very, very comfortable. I'm very, very happy with it. Very nice cushion here, as you can see. It's really nice and fluffy, plump, whatever you want to say. I think it'll be very nice. I would say the footwell for the throne seat that I'm on, so it goes 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, I think, all the way back. So I'm on the 1 in the middle because I'm flying alone. I think you lose a bit of space in that footwell because of being in the middle of 2 seats in front. The leg room in the 2 seats is actually very good. But in terms of like stretching out stuff, absolutely great. I suspect when I put the bed down to lie down that I'll struggle with my feet in there. I think that's kind of what it looks like. I think I've shown a little bit of that on the preview video leading up to this. Takeoff was great, no issues, and we're now cruising whatever we are, leaving the British Isles and heading over to Europe. So I will update either as we go along or when I land. I'm not quite sure. I'll try and get some footage so everyone can see as much as I like, and hopefully this review is a little bit different to the ones I've done before, in that I want to try and show more relevant stuff, I guess. The screen, just to let you know, the screen here is extremely responsive, really very good, and there's a lot of little storage spaces on the seat as well, down to my side here. Behind here you've got controls for your seat, you've got power, which I think I showed on the previous video. There's a power outlet here, a multi power outlet with high speed USB charging. The headphones seem okay. I'm probably not going to use those, I tend to use my own anyway. But little side reading light, you can see behind me a little bit there. Yeah, I think it's a nice seat. It really is a nice seat, and it just feels clean. The cabin just feels nice and clean. So yeah, so far I'm pretty happy. Looking forward to trying the food, because I've heard some good reviews about it, and I want to be able to confirm that. So here we continue, and I'll keep you guys informed as we go. So just as a bit of an update on that meal, that was a salmon starter with a potato salad. They put something on the lemon, some garlic bread, and then some standard bread. I have to tell you, that is one of the most delicious things I've eaten in the sky, and I've had some good meals before, but unbelievable flavour. I can't say anything better. It really is outstanding. So yeah, big thumbs up here, Astana, on this one. So far the rumours are true. That is delicious. I'll update you on the main course, but we've got Taittinger champagne now, which I'm having over here. So I mean, I don't really have words. It's honestly very, very good, and yeah, top marks on this one. Okay, second course was mushroom soup, and on the side they had some like fried mushrooms and some more amazing bread. And once again, absolutely delicious, really flavoursome. Honestly, restaurant quality for sure. Really, really great. I also love the cutlery. The cutlery is pretty fantastic. It's really, really quite nice. I like it a lot. So yeah, another thumbs up, Astana, big time. Okay, so I've just finished the main course, which was the braised beef. It was probably my least favourite of the three courses we've had so far, and that is not to say it's not nice. It is very nice. I probably prefer my beef a little more rare. To me, it was, well, just not out. But you know, what can you do? It was still very tender. It came with a couple of mushrooms, and I don't know, maybe because I'm a bit full, but it was okay. That's all I could say. It was okay. Whereas the other two were really pretty outstanding. So maybe my choice. I looked across the aisle, and some person there was having the fish, and that did look very nice. So I think maybe on my next leg I'll try something different and see if that's if I enjoy it more. Basically, as simple as that. But honestly, it was good. It was good. Please, I don't want anyone to think that's not a nice meal. It is a lovely meal. Just my least favourite of the three. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so the third service came round and they bring a trolley down. So they don't just serve what you want, they bring a trolley, like a sweets trolley, like it used to be many years ago in restaurants, which is it's quite a nice little touch actually. So you got a choice of some biscuits and cheeses, different cheeses and biscuits, which look delicious. As I'm pretty full, he says that, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so I still had the apple crumble, and it was like an apple crumble with berries, with a custard mixed in. It was really nice, very, very nice. So the food has been extremely, extremely good. It's a nice range of food, and very, very tasty food as well. And of course, I meant to say I could have a cup of tea or coffee if I wanted one. So yeah, it's been a very pleasant meal, very, very pleasant meal. I'm well full, I have to tell you, I'm really full. Okay, so I've just had a little bit of a closer look at the entertainment system. I mean, it's okay. Not thousands and thousands of movies. I suppose it would appeal to most people. There's a couple of films on there I would probably watch, which is great. One thing I have observed though is that they put adverts when you want to play something. There's a whole bunch of adverts that you cannot skip, which I think fine if you're in maybe economy, but if you've come into business class, I don't think that's really very cool. I think you should have the right to skip through these sort of things after you're paying for a premium service that you're being sort of advertised to. You kind of zone out. Yeah, so that's just an observation of the entertainment system I've seen so far.
Белдіктеріңізді бекітіңіз деген көрсеткіш жетпегенше орындарыңызда отыруларыңызды сұраймыз.
business lounge?
Oh, business lounge inside, maybe, I don't know, you can ask here.
Where? I've been around everywhere, I'm not quite sure who to ask.
Извините, можно спросить? У нас есть бизнес-лаунж?
Нет, еще не открыл.
No, not open.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we've now arrived at the new Almaty airport, which is still very much under construction. The front end seems to be opened. It's extremely busy. I've done a bit of a walk around. Honest opinion, Astana, you need to do better if you're going to have people paying premium prices for airfares and coming on business class, and you have no facilities for us at all. I mean, nothing. I believe the old airport at least did have a business lounge. This one has got zero. So there's no provision for any form of food, drink or anything. And bearing in mind it's a 16-hour layover, I would suggest, very, very massive loss of points for that. Because, you're charging premium fares and you're not really providing premium airport services, to be fair. You know, sure, it's new, but honestly, you should have got your act together in some way, you know, whether it be a voucher or just something. So I've got to sit for 16 hours in the middle of a massively busy airport and just nothing, no access to anything around here. It's terrible. So anyway, yeah, poor show, guys, poor show. Okay, so it's a few hours later now here in Almaty Airport. We arrived at 7:30 this morning. It is the new airport. I've taken some footage around, done a bit of the duty free and so forth. The problem is it's not finished. And because of that, there's no real services if you're in business class. So just a little advice, if you've got a long layover in Almaty, maybe look at another airline if you want to, if you're flying business class, because you will be very disappointed. There is nothing here for business class. There's no provision at all, not even sort of a voucher to say here's some food or drink or something. So I think, you know, if you are paying for a premium service, I do believe that airlines should provide premium service. And as much as the aircraft itself, you know, food-wise and so forth was great. I mean, there's a few ups and downs on that review as well, but certainly don't want to be in this airport for a long length of time. Now, on balance, they do have facilities here, just so you understand. Not things like showers. I haven't seen anything like that. There's toilets, facilities, standard toilets. There's a couple of sort of self-service things called Need Stop, which I've never heard of before. They have a Costa coffee here, which is quite interesting to see. I have no idea how much it costs you because I haven't had anything yet. It's quite a big duty free, and I took a little spin around it. I didn't spend too long in there, just thought I'd show some footage. And then I kind of walked around the airport to spin it around a little bit with a bit of the pros. You've got a great shot of the apron here. You can see all the aircraft from your window right the way down the front of the airport. So that's quite nice if you enjoy looking at aircraft. I mean, I'm not an aircraft fanatic or anything, but I just think that's pretty cool regardless. They do have some charge points. I've noticed those on some of the chairs. You can see they're still in construction. There's no question about it. You know, you've got chairs that haven't got their electrics connected and the cables are underneath. They're not bare cables or anything, but you can just see they're still sort of rushing around to finish it. There's a lot of boarded off areas, things saying coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. As I didn't experience the previous airport, I can't really comment as to whether they should have waited until they could actually provide everything. Probably not. Maybe this is the best way to go. But one thing I would say is that regardless if you're premium or not, if you were in transit here and you wanted to fork out for, say, an airside hotel or a sleep pod or just something, or a shower, anything like that, there does not seem to be those facilities here, which I think is very short-sighted, and that's on the assumption they're not doing them. They may still be adding those, which, you know, that's fine if they are great. But yeah, at the moment, yeah, this is becoming a bit of a mammoth experience for me. I'm in a very hard seat, and I'm 4 hours into my 16 hours, so I've still got another 12. Lucky me, eh? But you know what? I wanted to do this trip because I wanted to try a different airline. I wanted to show you guys a different airport, especially as this is a new airport. And the reviews I've seen on the old airport were not very good. And although this isn't a great review either, I think we've got to be balanced on perhaps they're going to improve on what they're offering. So give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense. One thing I would actually point out is, so I'm in transit. So to go in transit, I had to wait down by passport control, then got escorted through a padlocked door, which they unpadlocked and went through that, and then sort of a side screen, and then we went through security again. It was surreal, but yeah, that's how it was. I think something like an information desk would be really, really useful. people don't seem to be immediately very helpful. And in fairness, I did speak to one lady in duty free who was very helpful. That's how we established there's no business lounge. Generally speaking, you don't have that sense of, come and talk to me, I can help you out. So I can't put it down to anything. It's just my impression. And there's nothing sort of, you don't know if there's people in yellow coats and outfits, and from what I can see, some of them are workers, as in like builders and so forth. So you don't quite know who's the airport officials, who's doing the building. It's very unclear is the best word. I think it's, you could call it organized chaos, I guess. It does seem chaotic when I'm seeing flights leave, and they seem to queue quite a long time at the gates. I'm just looking ahead of me now. There's a flight going out down there, and there's just a mammoth queue. So, teething problems? Probably. But bear in mind, they have had an international airport here for a long time, so you can't really blame the new airport necessarily, can you? So, I don't know our experience later with this priority boarding. Who knows? There wasn't in Heathrow, so who knows? I have no expectations now. Probably the best way to be is have no expectations and see what comes out of it. So, yeah, this is the life for me at the moment. It's definitely an experience, and I did say I wanted an experience. I just didn't expect this, and I'm sorry if I look really ropey, but I didn't sleep a single wink on the plane. As I may have pointed out, the footwell space is so small, you just can't move, and the bed's pretty uncomfortable too, to be fair. Anyway, I'll review all that right at the end, because there's issues about various things on the plane. As much as there was some really good sides of it, there's some other things that could be improved. This is a very, very mixed review. It's definitely ups and downs, and doesn't have one opinion overall, but I hope you guys are going to enjoy what I'm putting together here, or criticize me, whatever. My attitude is I'm doing these trips to try and show others whether to choose to come here or not. My advice right now is, yeah, of course, fly through this airport, but do not have a long layover. Don't. No. It's fine for a couple of hours, 2-3 hours, no problem, but I've got to do the old 16-hour marathon. And it is a very funny flight schedule that they have. I mean, you book the whole flight through from London through to Bangkok. It's just a very strange sort of 16-hour layover. It seems an awfully long time. I don't know how the scheduling works, but it did seem a bit odd to me. So, yeah, this is going to be ongoing. There's lots of footage on this one. I don't know if we're going to do this in multiple parts. I think probably, because I think we've still got more to come. And I'll sort of show you how it all looks at the moment in just a moment. Okay, so I'm just giving you the ultra-wide view so you can see my airport set up here. Got the old couple of bags, hand luggage, and yeah. I was trying to use that as a pillow, and I took some extra clothes that I had to change into, but it was really hard, so I couldn't sleep on it. So, nothing ventured, as they say, nothing ventured. So yeah, this is my current position on the apron. I've sort of tucked myself into a corner. Here we are now on 12 hours. 12 hours in this airport has been quite the experience. I've sort of try to get, you get people sort of sleeping all over, which you can't really be shocked at because they don't provide any other services here. So I sort of went to a quiet area, and I've slept there a few times during the day for sort of the odd half hour or so just to try and catch up on some sleep. Anyway, not too long ago, probably about half an hour maybe, no, about 45 minutes ago, I actually managed to just doze off, and I get tapped on the shoulder by this lady speaking Kazakh Russian. I really don't know, because not many people speak English. Okay, it's fine, it's their country, but if you're going to come and have a conversation with someone, at least be able to communicate. Anyway, she was clearly having some freak out because I was lying sleeping, and implied that I shouldn't really be sleeping there. And I mean, I was right tucked away, not even anywhere near anyone else to see. I mean, other people just lounge all over the place here. No one does anything, and that's cool. It's fine. Anyway, so I've now had to get up and go to another part of the airport to continue my marathon wait for my flight. And, you know, if you don't provide the services, guys, how are we supposed to use them? So if you had a hotel, I certainly would have looked at booking one on the airport side. If you had sleeping pods, I would have looked at spending money on using those, but you don't provide anything here at the airport, and then you get told off for actually trying to find somewhere to sleep. It's madness, absolute madness. I mean, there was the thing that has crossed my mind, and some people may say this, and they say, why don't you go out the airport and go stay in a hotel? There is an argument for that, absolutely, but I've also read a couple of, I've watched some YouTube guys who've done that, and for one, I'm told the bus drops you 1 kilometre from the front of the airport, so you've got to walk the last kilometre with all your hand luggage, which is quite a mission. Secondly, gridlock of traffic from getting out of the airport, I'm told, is terrible. So again, I didn't want to go through that. You know, I don't know the country, so I'm not particularly confident. And thirdly, I'm also told through other channels that there's loads of scammer taxi dudes out there. So I thought, no, I'll just stay in transit with the massive hope that they at least had a lounge so we could have a comfortable seat instead of these solid whatever these things are. And yeah, it's just really annoying, you know. I'm not saying we won't pay for these additional services. I'm not saying they should necessarily be free. I mean, certainly, you know, I'm sorry, but Astana should have provided for the business class passengers. Simple as that. So it's a massive fail on their part, in my opinion, on the ground, I mean. But they've opened this airport half-assed. They have, you know. Yeah, it's very, very disappointing. I mean, I'll reiterate, I said it before, I'm sorry if I'm sounding like I'm whinging, but, you know, it's been a blimmin' long stay, and, you know, I haven't been able to get, I mean, I could get drinks and food if I wanted to get them, but I don't kind of know how to get the exchange rates and stuff, and no one tells you anything. In the duty free, they've got prices in euros, which I didn't expect. And then at the Costa Coffee, they've got prices in something else. I don't know what it is. And obviously no one's speaking English, so I can't ask the question. So I've just kind of stuck with water. And yeah, I'm okay. Thankfully, I had a great meal on the plane, so it hasn't been a massive hardship not to eat or to drink all day, because I did definitely get my fill on the plane, so that's not really an issue. So just want to keep you guys up to date on where we're at. We're going into the sort of home run, that's how I look at it. The sun's gone down, 4 hours to go. I've got over the back of it, the hump. I'm over the hump on the down straight now, so I'm not sure if there's much I can show you on the next flight. If it's any different to the first flight, I'll obviously make those points and show you. If not, I think the content I've shown you on the first flight is correct. I have a feeling I'm in the same type of seat tonight on the next flight to Bangkok, so that's another night of no sleep with no movement on your legs. It's a bit like being encased in a mummy case, if you could imagine that, but just from your legs, from your knees down. So you've got to sort of slip them in. If you're short, I think you'd have no problem with that seat, but I'm 6 foot. It's awful, just awful. It's a great seat to sit on, but it's not particularly comfortable once you go down. As I said, the blanket they provide you is wafer thin, and so that wouldn't even provide any additional. I mean, I didn't use the blanket because it wasn't particularly cold, but if you say use the blanket as a sort of mattress cover, it honestly wouldn't have improved the seat. It was hard in the wrong places. So yeah, it's been an interesting up and down, really. You know, there's been good parts to this for sure. There's been some great parts of the flight, great parts of Astana, Air Astana, and then some absolute letdowns so far. So it's good because it lowers your expectations. So what I am looking forward to and kind of expecting on the basis of what I had last night is at least getting a good meal on the plane when we get on there. And you know, I might even have a few beers just to get myself to sleep. Maybe if I got 2 hours, that would be pretty cool. And I'm sorry, as I said, if I'm looking ropey, that's the reason. You know, I get 15 minutes, people, they're drilling, they're hammering. I mean, look, it's an airport, I wouldn't expect it to be quiet, but yeah, it's particularly noisy because you can hear all the work going on in the background. But that, you kind of just let that sink away. You can sort of get used to it as the day goes on. I think being woken up and almost told off in a language I don't understand, I haven't even a clue what she was saying. She's gesturing like this, or whatever she's saying. So I just sat there like in bewilderment because I had literally nodded off, so I was feeling quite, finally. So yeah, had a bewildering time. That's one of the words of today. And the journey continues, so I'll keep you updated if anything else changes. Okay, I'm not sure about the quality of the picture at the moment, but that was the most shambolic, appalling set of service I've ever come across. It's the worst I've ever done in business class, honestly. It's like herding cattle. Absolutely no control of priority lanes, no communication in English whatsoever. People coming up the stairs like, honestly, like cattle. Shocking, honestly. I'll do a full overview, but so far today has been absolutely 0.0 to Air Astana. 0. Shocking. Terrible. It's also worth noting that they're late. Been 16 hours plus in the airport, and they're late on the boarding. There's no... I mean, I guess the flight can theoretically only get better, right? But famous last words, I won't keep that one as a bit of reality, because I'm not so sure it will. So at least I'm on a seat. So I'm probably not going to talk too much unless something else really gets on my thingy bobs, because I'm just fed up with today. Absolutely fed up. And they haven't done really anything to make it any better. Only other thing is I'm on the other side of the plane on this trip. Last time I was on the right hand side, and this time I'm on the left, and I'm a couple of seats back. Obviously the footwell's exactly the same, little tunnel, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so we made it through passport control, visa stamped, and now to get the baggage. Bag claim number 8. So, to the final summary of the trip. So, first of all, we worked it out, door to door was around about 35 hours of traveling, which is one hell of a long way to go. Sorry, a long time to take when you're on a trip like this. I'll start from the first and second legs, and I call them first and second legs because we flew from Heathrow to Aktau, where they did a refueling, and then we flew on to Almaty, and also at Aktau they did a personnel change. So the pilots were changed, the cabin crew were all changed. So it's a good experience to sort of say, okay, what did I experience from the different crews? So let's just talk about the start at Heathrow Airport. The reception on the ground there was relatively okay. I mean, not super friendly, but not super rude either. So pretty much right in the middle. Again, I felt a little bit, you could do a little bit more, you know? I just don't feel that's that strong welcome. So we then went through to security, through to Heathrow, and as usual, what I would expect with Heathrow, fast track, not very fast and not very friendly. But you know, to be honest, I've come to expect that in England. It's fairly standard. There's some arrogance about them, which they seem to continue with for some unknown reason. So it was good to say goodbye to England and head over here. So Air Astana used the Plaza Lounge at Heathrow Terminal 4, and it's exceedingly average. It's not an exclusive lounge. It's used by anybody, and you can also pay to go in there. So yeah, and the seating isn't very comfortable. It doesn't have that cozy feel. The food looked extremely average, and so I didn't really bother with too much of a review on that. And we're not really talking about the lounges here. We are in a minute, but we're not talking about the lounges in Heathrow. So flight number 1, late. 40 minutes late, I believe we took off, but they did make the time up. And not that it bothered me, because being late would be an advantage to me, having, you know, going to Almaty. I was going to be in Almaty for 16 hours, so I didn't mind any delays. The boarding process itself was pretty chaotic. There was no communication, certainly not in English, and there was no priority lane for business class, which is the first time I've experienced that. There just seemed to be a free-for-all. I think I mentioned in the video that it didn't bother me so much because I managed to get on board fairly quickly anyway, but it was a bit chaotic. Once we were on board, I would describe the situation around the seat as I think I've told you guys already. The seat was great to sit on, had loads of space around it, but it was not very comfortable to lie down on. There's no mattress toppers, and the blanket they give you is like a wafer, so it's really small. I think I've mentioned that in other parts of the video as well. So not great. Nice pillow, having said that. And all the amenities around the seat were great, except for the footwell, which was absolutely dreadful and just didn't allow you to sleep comfortably. Unless you're a completely on your back sleeper and never move in the night, it's awful. No other word for it. And to make matters worse, they class that seat as a premium seat in premium, which is odd, because I booked that seat for 2 reasons. Well, one main reason actually, but the 2 seats, so it's got a 2-1-2 configuration. The 2-seat system, there's no room, no aisle access if you buy the window. So if you've got somebody in the seat next to you, which it was full, so you would have, either they'd be stepping over you in the night, or you'd be stepping over them and waking and disturbing them. I just think it's a terrible arrangement to have. So I wanted the seat alone, as I was flying alone, and they charged me for that, which I think is dreadful, that you should be charged on business class for booking your seat. So anyway, I paid for that, and then I made a change to my flight. And on making the change to my flight, guess what Air Astana did? Yes, they charged me again. They didn't keep my credit for the first seat that I'd booked on the flight I wasn't taking. No, they charged me again. So really not good, Astana. Not good at all. You really need to improve in certain areas, and that's one of them. There are others, I can assure you. So moving on, got on the flight. And you'd ask, why did I fly Air Astana? So one of the positives with Air Astana is their baggage allowance. It's excellent. It's 2 by 32 kilograms, so 64 kilograms in the hold, and you get 18 kilograms on board. So that was a massive draw for me, because I flew them with a purpose in mind. I needed to carry a bit of extra weight. So that's not my own weight, obviously. That goes without saying. But the extra baggage I needed, so I went with that route. And I actually paid for an additional bag as well, but that's kind of by the by. So we've got the flight organized, we're on board. The food on the whole was very, very good, excellent generally speaking. Main course, not so much, very average at best. So I had a massive anticipation when we went on for that food, because I've watched a couple of other vloggers who call this their favorite airline. Oh, sorry to beg to differ, but that's fine if you think that it is that. The food was overall pretty good. Okay, so let's not sort of shoot it down. I would say the last leg of the flight, which was Almaty to Bangkok, was less so, because all we got when we went on board was a turkey sandwich, in a croissant type sandwich, if you like, which is very average. And then breakfast was again pretty much average, in line with many other business class breakfasts that I've flown on anyway. So I wouldn't put it above at all. I'd put it on a par. The service on board from the staff, if I would talk about Heathrow to Almaty via wherever it was, I forgot the name, doesn't really matter right now, but I would say they were just very average. There was nothing above and beyond about them. They didn't sort of come back and check, can I get you anything else, do you need anything? And you almost felt like you didn't want to disturb them, so I didn't. I think they just wanted to get the meal service out the way and then go to bed, for us to go to bed so we don't bother them. So on the third flight, I would say overall that the staff were a lot better, a lot more friendly. The lady looking after me even offered me chocolates on 2 occasions, which I never got any of that on the first section. She also came back and checked if I was okay, did I not need another drink or anything like that, which I thought was a nice little extra touch. So I would give that crew, and I wish I could name them because I don't know them, but I would give that crew, great points for that. But first crew, very average. The overall experience on the flight, what would I say? I would say it is average. Yeah, I think if you look at average, because what's going to bring it right down now is the 16 hours in Almaty airport, which was horrendous. There's no other word for it. It's a half-built airport. It's got the air side open and the other side pretty much in construction, which it's an opinion, but I think what they've done is they've got it open and got the duty-free open quickly so they can try and make some money, which, by the way, is extremely expensive. The duty-free has pricing in euros, and a lot of the stuff I saw was extremely expensive. But I would say that about most duty-frees. I think it's a misnomer that duty-free is cheaper. Unless you're talking about certain alcohols or cigarettes, that's probably where you see some saving. But yeah, the rest of it, I would say, very expensive. So we went around the airport to try and find what I hoped would be a business lounge, and after much searching and nobody talking in English or speaking in English or even trying to offer help, I managed to find one lady who did help from the duty free actually, and we managed to establish there was no lounge. So that was massive points in the negative. Not only do they not have a lounge, which they may be having when they build the rest of the airport, but at this stage they don't have a lounge. But not only that, Air Astana does not even provide for its business class passengers who are in layover in any way, shape or form. Now I believe, as they've opened what I would say a half-assed effort on the airport, I believe that they should provide something like a snack and a beverage, or just something to be looked after, or even a shuttle bus that keeps you airside but takes you to a local hotel for the day, something like that. They should do something. But to do absolutely nothing, no announcements, no information saying, by the way, when you fly into this airport, there's nothing here for you. And yes, on the video you see lots of people milling around, you see a big airport, but it's only half open. The whole back end is just not open. You could access food. There was a Costa there that was, I think, in their local currency. I never got a coffee there. As I say, the duty free was in euros, so you could kind of work that out with, if you're living in Europe, or in my case coming from UK, you could kind of work out the prices, which is kind of how I knew it was rather expensive. So the 16 hours on exceedingly hard, what they want to call seats, but I would just call boards with colour. They were unbelievably hard. They did have charge points around the airport. Some were working, some weren't, part of the construction process. They did have Wi-Fi, so I will give them marks for having Wi-Fi, so at least I was able to communicate during the day, so that was one good thing. But I have to say this, I was also woken up by a cleaner telling me to sort of move along and not be sleeping here like I'm some hobo. Basically, I tucked myself in the corner of the airport. There were people all over the airport sleeping on these solid benches, and they were okay, but somehow I wasn't okay, so I didn't understand her. She spoke in Russian and was gesticulating and doing all these sort of things, so whatever. So I moved along. Yeah, that was that. It was just, I would say, a day in hell in an airport. That would probably be it. I'm not saying the worst day of my life, because there are a lot worse days, but it was horrible, absolutely horrible. Then as the evening came, we finally found our gate, and once again Air Astana were late to board. In fact, you see the crew arriving while you're at the gate. They're not even on the plane. You actually see them arriving. Oh, right, now we're waiting. So we waited again, and then they call people to get, and that's you're carted off on a bus to the plane. Again, absolutely no priority lane, no control. Herding cattle is a kindness as a description. That's a kindness. We herded onto the bus, driven up to the plane, and then it even got worse. If you can imagine a bottleneck at the bottom of a set of stairs trying to get up a plane, that was it. And it was a mixture of absolutely everybody, as if the plane was going to leave without them. And there was a lady at the bottom from Air Astana, not controlling anything whatsoever, and people flashing their tickets in the air like this. It was like an auction house. Yeah, I don't know, the financial markets, when they're all shouting and waving things, it's a bit like that. Anyway, I got on board, and the chaotic boarding process continued as people streaming in at a rate of knots. Managed to settle into my seat. I may have made a little comment to video about how terrible the boarding was, so you'll see that as well. You probably already have seen it, in fact. So once we were in place, I won't talk too much about the pre-build up. Anyway, we took off, and essentially we were offered a sandwich, which you saw on the menu. I had this turkey sandwich. I say sandwich, it's a croissant. We had a croissant, turkey croissant, which was very average, nothing special. I think I had a couple of the local beers. I asked them, because I thought my logic was, I'd just done a night on a plane and then 16 hours, and I haven't really slept much, especially not on the plane. I didn't sleep at all, and I didn't expect to be able to sleep this time as well, because the footwell situation was the same. However, I was so exhausted that I did actually manage to get myself, I would say, about an hour and a half on the flight, which I was quite happy about. I didn't go mad on the beer, by the way. I just had 2, and it was their local beer, actually, really nice. I'll put it on the video there for you guys to see. It was excellent beer. As I say again, woke up sometime, a couple of hours after sleeping, and they then came around with the breakfast. As sunrise started to occur, some lovely shots out the window. I may have put those in the video, I think. The rest of the flight, quite honestly, was pretty straightforward. Nothing bad to say about it. It was all perfectly reasonably good. And so we went into Bangkok, came through, and I love Bangkok anyway as an airport. Came through immigration, etc. very, very easily. It was quite early in the morning. Well, by this about 9 o'clock, so morning time in Suvarnabhumi. I went through immigration into bags control. The bags took a little while. They weren't as quick as they would normally be, but that's neither here nor there. It wasn't substantially long. My bags came out pretty quickly, right through customs, and there it was, the end of the trip. So let's talk nuts and bolts, shall we? The cost of this for me was in the region of £1,500 for one way. Okay, it is a little bit higher than I was originally going to pay, because I changed the flight. I brought the flight forward, so I had to pay a bit on top, which was fine. It was also up because I had to pay, in total, I think it was £87 for both trips, for both flights, if you like, for that seat. So in my case, I paid £174 because I paid twice, and they didn't give me my money back. So I say around 1,500. It is north of 1,500, because you've got to add those extra costs that weren't there before. So let's just eliminate those costs. You'll pay around about £1,400 for this flight one way, without having to book a seat, and with the standard baggage allowance and so forth. So value for money, I would say on par with, maybe a little bit lower than a lot of the other business class airlines. It does have a massive advantage in the baggage allowance it gives you. I think that is a really big plus for Air Astana. The cabin itself looked nice and tidy, it looked clean. The amenity kits were really, really good. Probably the best I've had, with the exception of maybe some pajamas, but then again it wouldn't have mattered because I didn't sleep anyway. So just a little bit of comfort. Blankets, yeah. I don't have anything to say about them. So would I fly Air Astana again? I'm never someone to say never. So probably not, but maybe. It depends on my needs. My advice to you, if you're going to look at Air Astana, I guess you have to look for why you're traveling. If you're traveling for fun, for just traveling for luxury, if you like, I wouldn't fly them. Absolutely not. I just don't think they're up at the level that they need to be. For practicalities, in terms of what I needed, in terms of weight, I needed that. So yes, on that basis, I would fly them again if I needed that certain advantage that they may give. They don't edge out any other airline so far for me. And please just remember, I haven't flown every airline in the world, so they may edge out other airlines. I'd put them on par with Finnair, or maybe slightly below, but that's when Finnair were also offering good baggage allowances. Now Finnair, as far as I understand it, have changed their policies to pay for everything on top. As I understand it, that's perfectly up for correction. So I'd put them on par or slightly below Finnair. So they're definitely not up there with the best, in my opinion. They could be, they certainly could be. I mean, I don't see any reason why they couldn't if they made certain changes, but no one's going to change in my opinion. But you know, it's just an opinion. I'm trying to do this for you guys so you don't have to go through what I go through. Go through Almaty by all means, but don't go there for long layovers. You know, it's just not the greatest airport to be in for long layovers. A couple of hours, plenty, and then move along as soon as possible. I'd probably do things slightly differently if it did this again. But yeah, there you go. That's the kind of price value for money. For me, yes, because I had an objective. I needed to achieve getting a lot of weight over to Thailand. So yes, for me it was value for money. Is it value for money on the face of it? It doesn't give you the premium service it pretends it's offering. Okay, it's only parts of what they're giving you is premium. And you can't say just because the food's fantastic, oh, we must fly this airline. I don't think that cuts the mustard. I think you have to offer a premium service. So Air Astana, if you want constructive criticism, then please take this video as it's meant to try and show you what you're just not doing right. And I'm just Jimmy Average, the traveller. I am not an extensive traveller. I am certainly not a snob. I just believe if you're paying for premium, you should get premium. And Air Astana are not giving you a full premium service. I hope you enjoyed the video. A really thanks so much to everyone who subscribed. Please continue to share. We're trying to grow this channel very fast. There's been a few changes like I've intimated. We will tell you about that, changes in my life and so forth. So we want to really try and get the channel up and running as soon as possible. Comments, more than welcome. You don't need to be nasty. If you have an opinion, just have an opinion. I have no problem with that. Thank you for the nice comments we have received. Thank you for some of the comments where you've criticized certain things we've done, because they're very good criticisms. And hopefully this video has improved things somewhat. If not, you've got your say. Please let us know. Right in the old description below. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful week.